Guys, it's that time. It's holiday time. It's Christmas time. And no better way to do a little bit of a tier list. Tier list on all the Whoville characters from the live action Dr. Zeus Grinch movie. So this is going to be awesome. And it's just me. And I think it's going to be awesome. So, guys, let's get into it.
All right, let's go. Woo!
Uh, Hello?
All right, let's go.
Oh.
Woo!
There's something weird coming on my end. Is there someone there?
Hello?
Oh,
Hello?
hey.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Mark?
Are we doing this? Are we doing this character tier list from the Grinch? Are we doing this?
Sorry, Mark. I didn't know. Did I? Sorry, Did I invite you to this? Sorry, I can't remember.
I'm just here.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
wait, that's actually awesome. So you're
Yeah.
gonna do it with me? You're gonna do it with me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is actually like a Christmas miracle. I think this is gonna be awesome.
All right. Let's do
Okay.
it.
Let's do it, guys. So, guys, we have Mark here from the Kittydaw channel, and I think it's gonna be even better if it's just two people, because the holidays, it's a time for spending time with your friends and family, and the more the merrier. You know what they say, right, Mark?
More the merrier.
Let's start off. Let's say we start off with Baby Grinch. That'll be our first character. So, Baby Grinch, if you're not familiar, he's the baby of the titular character, the Grinch. For me, can't really stand the Baby Grinch. I find that he looks like a lot scarier than the grown-up Grinch, and he's just a little whiny kid, a little whiny baby, and yeah, not really a fan. What do you think?
That's fair. He is pretty scary. He is quite scarier. I do enjoy his presence in the film. I definitely I prefer having Baby Grinch over not, but I wouldn't rank him terribly high. So for me, I think Baby Grinch would get a C tier.
Oh, okay, C tier, C tier. I like that. Yeah. I get that. I don't wanna hurt your feelings or anything, just with what I'm about to say, but Baby Grinch, you know how a lot of times in movies, shows, there's a baby version of characters. Baby Yoda, baby whatever. I can't remember. All I think about is Baby Yoda because I love Star Wars. Um, but yeah, like if we compare Baby Grinch to Baby Yoda is pretty cool, and Baby Grinch is like not that cool, and he's kind of freaky looking. So for me, I'm gonna have to put Baby Grinch in D.
Baby Grinch and D. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. So
My feelings are a little bit hurt, but that's okay. I'm fine.
okay. Hey. This is how the cards are played. This is how the game works. So get into the game if you can't handle it. Next character we have is Cindy Lou Who. Did you hear what I was about to say? I said Cindy Lou Who, and then I was about to say who.
Who?
Who? Yeah, that's who?
Who?
Okay, enough with the freaking jokes. This is serious talk. Cindy Lou Who. She does.
Sorry.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I
No,
was
go ahead.
just I was just gonna read a note that you put on the screen.
Yeah.
You said Cindy Lou Who isn't like the other Who's.
Yes. Do you care? Do you want me to elaborate?
I would love for you to elaborate.
So, what I mean by that is all the other Who's, they're consumed by Christmas in the consumer sense. They're thinking about the lights, they're thinking about the presents, they're thinking about giving and getting and all this stuff. It's all noise, really. Cindy Lou Who, on the other hand, she's not a total hater like the Grinch. But she's skeptic. She's a Christmas skeptic. She's not really sure where she fits in with the Who's, and so she does feel like an outsider. And I think that does give her the edge, or it gives her a little bit more room to grow as a character. With the other Who's, I'm gonna have to spoil the movie, but the Who characters, they start consumed not by greed, but just a bunch of things that might not be necessary to the true meaning and true spirit of Christmas. And then by the end, they change. And who changes their feelings about that is Cindy Lou Who, which I think she is the, what was I gonna say? Not pinpoint, but she's integral to how the Who's change, and she questions authority throughout the film with the Mayor Whoville. That's just what I have to say. Might as well just kind of give my tier ranking on her. I'm gonna say A. I'm gonna say A.
Nice, yeah, and I agree with a lot of what you said. I mean, Cindy Lou Who really is the glue holding this entire story together, because you have the Grinch, but you can't have Batman without the Joker, just like how you can't have the Grinch without Cindy Lou Who. And Cindy Lou Who being so important to the story, and such a brilliant performance in this film. I'm not sure who the child is. Taylor Momsen. Great job. Excellent.
Great job. Great job,
And
Taylor.
I really connected with this character. I really connected with this character as a kid, watching this movie all the time at Christmas. And, Cindy Lou Who for me is going to go into A tier.
Yes, that's what I like to hear, man. We finally agree on something.
Finally!
I,
Woo!
I feel like this sets the tone for what's to come. I think we're in the right headspace. We're thinking alike, which is fantastic. Okay. Next character. This might put you in a bad mood, but next character is Mayor Augustus Mayhew.
Ugh.
Yeah, just gives me the wheelies, gives me the shivers, man. He's just, I don't know. Actually, I do know. I don't like him. I do not like him. He's a very conceited character. He's very full of himself. He's been a Grinch hater since day one. We get the flashback throughout the film where the Grinch goes to school and he has this crush on this girl, but the mayor, I guess he was Augustus Mayhew at the time. He was just a little boy. He was a Grinch hater. He was like, ugh, Grinch, you suck, man. And he always just feels the need to one up the Grinch. When the Grinch wins the Holiday Cheermeister Award, he is like, okay, well, I can do better than that. Let me propose to Martha right after this. And, he can never get enough, and he wants more, 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 more. So for that, I'm going to have to put him, Loki, actually, I'm going to have to put him in F tier.
I agree. Mayor Augustus Mayhew. What a dick. What a guy. He's truly a rude man. He makes my blood boil. And I can't say there's much to like about him. There's not, when he comes on screen, I'm not like, oh, look, here's a great character to watch. Like, he just upsets me. And so I do think he makes for a fine antagonist of the film, because I despise him so much. So I'm going to put him in E tier.
Yeah, no, I respect that. I respect that for sure. So our next character is Martha May Whovier, who, as we've seen in the film, has been in love with the Grinch since day one. So kind of questionable taste in men, but I feel like she does. Actually, I was gonna say she kind of redeems herself, but I don't think she actually does. She doesn't. She adds to the film in certain senses, but she's more of a character that's in the film. She's not a pivotal part of the film, but she does also add to the themes of Whoville, where she is one that is consumed by the noise and all the consumerism aspects of Christmas, which is very important to the themes and ideas of the Grinch. And Loki, I feel like she could be a Nepo baby just because she always has the best, newest Christmas decorations in town. I'm going to have to put her in C tier.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting character. She's not on screen a whole lot, but when she makes an impact, and I can respect her being into the Grinch. I mean, I feel like there's not a whole
Sorry,
lot of people on this
what do you mean by
snowflake.
that?
Well, hold on. Is she into the Grinch or the mayor?
She's into the Grinch, but the mayor is kind of into her. But
Oh, right.
throughout the film, the Grinch kind of does little things, and then she's like a little turned on.
Right, right.
But do you think that's understandable? That's where I'm hearing from.
Yeah, I think it's understandable. I think she's just a little wild at heart, and the Grinch really brings that out in her. And so, to me, it's an interesting character study, Martha May Whovier, and so I think I'm gonna put her in at I'm gonna put her in a B tier for me.
Yeah, and can I also say she does have a very interesting taste in men, but as well, all the Who's are basically the same. You know what I mean? They kind of look the same, they act the same, and the Grinch is very different. And also, the Grinch is kind of a bad boy, so maybe she just likes bad boys.
That's true. The Grinch is a bad boy, very bad boy.
Okay, next character is Lou who is the father of Cindy Lou Who, also father of Stu and Lou Who. And he does have the Christmas spirit. He is one that is consumed by, all the presents, all the lights, all the this, all the that. And is that a entirely bad thing? No. A lot of us, we love doing little extra things for Christmas. So can't blame him. But I feel like he's a little bit too consumed about Christmas, and sometimes he neglects his own daughter, which is unfortunate. For Cindy Lou who is looking for a father figure in these dark times, in her times of adolescence. And so Lulu, who a lot of the movie isn't really the best father he could be, but he does prove himself at the end of the film, where he stands up to the mayor, and he fully recognizes what Cindy Lou Who is trying to get at, and he really comes back and is like, Christmas isn't just about this. It's not just about the lights. It's about spending time with your family, which I think is actually pretty awesome and really hits the themes home in the film. Lulu Who, pretty good character. I'm gonna have to put him in B.
Okay, okay, nice. Yeah, I really like Lulu Who. He just he brings this energy to the film that would be sorely missing without him. I mean, he's just it's this warm presence that he has. And I really enjoy his scenes in the movie, and a really great vibe overall. And so for me, Lulu Who I think is gonna go into A tier.
No way, Lou and A. That's crazy. No, no.
Hey, listen, I don't play by the rules.
Okay, hey. It seems like you love a lot of these characters, which is amazing to hear. Now we're going into the Lou Who family. Next up is the mother of Cindy Lou Who, Betty Lou who we don't see too much in the film. She's in it for a little bit. We do see that she's consumed with Christmas lights, and she seems to compare herself a lot to Martha, who is the neighbor and who we've mentioned from before. And Martha kind of shows off her Christmas lights, and oh, look, I have this new toy, this new thing that puts up the lights much better than you. And she, feels at loss because of that. And I think she gets in her head a little bit too much, and sometimes with that, it can negatively affect other people around her. And I feel like for her family, but is she valid for having that? Sure. I think a lot of times we compare ourselves to other people, and we're no better than her. So I think Betty Lou is, has these negative emotions and feelings, but she's also at the end of the day human, right? Like who's that kind of human, right? You'd say.
Human.
Oh, I like that. Oh, so yeah, I'm gonna say she's not in it for that much though. I'm gonna say C tier.
Yeah, like you said, this character's not in the movie a whole lot, and so she doesn't play a super strong role. She doesn't play as strong of a role in the film as Lulu Who. However, she does bring an enjoyable presence to the movie. She has her moments of bringing something to the table story wise. However, she doesn't really. She doesn't. You could remove her from the movie and you wouldn't lose a whole lot because she's just not around for a lot of it. So for Betty Lou Who, I think I'm gonna put her at a nice I'm gonna put her at a nice D tier.
There's also something that I noticed during the film at the end. I'm not sure if you'd care to help me figure out this, but at the end, Betty, she kisses her husband, who is Lou, of course, and they say, she says, "Merry Christmas, you hunk of burning who." Now, in the way of this film, is this like a romantic term of endearment in Whoville? Like, I've never heard this before, and is this also something appropriate that she can be saying in a public place, because she says it in front of all the town of Whoville? So what do you think? Do you think it's appropriate, and do you think it's a nice loving gesture?
Well, they are married. It's possible this is an inside joke between them. If I saw a married couple and one of them said to the other, "You hunk of burning human," then, well, maybe I would be a little concerned, but overall I would assume that must just be their sense of humor. So I'm thinking there's just a cultural difference between us humans here on Earth and the Who's on the snowflake.
Okay, yeah, amazing perspective. I hadn't really been thinking on those terms and in that perspective. So really, really nice hearing from that.
I'm glad we could dissect that.
I'm glad we could really dial in on that and figure out the truth behind that. No, that's great. Okay, next character is going to be Stu Lu Hu. And this is what I found, Mark, this is what I found. You might want to get a good listen on this. This is from the Dr. Zeus wiki. This is how they describe him, okay? Known as the killer of Whoville, Stu was an infamous trickster, troublemaker, postmaster apprentice, and well as something of a thug during the Grinch Who era.
Wow.
And I feel like this is lore that we haven't really tapped into in the movie. So I'm not sure where this source is getting this from, because the only thing we really see from Stu is that he's a little scaredy cat, because he's at the beginning of the film, him and his brother Drew, they go to the Grinch's lair, and they don't even see the actual Grinch. They see a freaking, I think it's like some sort of animatronic head that looks like the Grinch that the Grinch puts for them. But they get scared of that. So maybe this is something, this lore that we get from Stu is something we get either before, I would say maybe after. Can't really see him being the killer of Whoville and being a thug during that time. But as well, Whoville, maybe they're thugs and that stuff. They're a little more kinder, more gentler than the thugs that we would be thinking here. But as well, I can't really judge the character based on a line from the Dr. Zeus wiki, because that could be false. So we have to look at Stu Lu as a character through the eyes, through the lens that the movie provides to us. And what it provides is that he's a little scaredy cat. I'm just going to put him in E tier for now. Just kind of like, actually change up D tier.
I wouldn't say I'm a fan of this character, but I really like his hair. He's got sort of this very exaggerated, almost like I don't even know how to describe it. It kind of reminds me of Elvis. His big tall hairdo, and I really enjoy that. I think he's got great style with that orange sweater he's got on, the orange coat, and but he is a scaredy cat, and what are they doing at the start? They're like playing a prank on the Grinch, like they're trespassing on his territory, and he has to scare them all away. And I don't respect that kind of business. That sort of like sort of encroaching on the Grinch's territory, and so for me, I think he's gonna have to go into D tier.
And now this is very similar vibe, but Drew, who is the brother of Stu. And I feel like we probably don't have too much to add because Drew is basically the same as Stu. They're basically carbon copies. They could be even twins. And he also does have the tall hair. That's pretty good. But if Drew is very similar to Lou, and what I said about Lou is true. See what I did there, little rhymes. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to put Drew in D. Did okay. So we do have a photo.
Do you like that picture I put in there?
So news source just dropped of this photo of Drew and Lou. New coverage just dropped. New release photo of Drew and Lou. Is that in the movie or what is that from?
I think it's a behind the scenes picture.
No. Drew, they're posing. They're models.
No, I gotta say, Stu's haircut's pretty great too. I really like. It's very wiry. Like it's really bouncing all around. He's got the lighter coat, the yellow. Yeah, no, I appreciate his style too. He reminds me a little bit of Broccoli. I think if you combine him and Stu and Drew together, they would become Broccoli, just with a little bit of green added to the mix.
Of course, yeah.
So for Drew, yeah, I appreciate his presence, but like you said, he's kind of a bit of the same as Stu, and so for that reason, I think I'm gonna put Drew in E tier.
We got the Lou Who's out of the way. Now we're going. Oh, should we do? Actually, wait. Let's do another version of the Grinch. So we did Baby Grinch. Now this is this might be a little controversial. Kid Grinch, who is how many? We don't even know how old he is. We don't even know how old he is in general. Kid Grinch. He's a young Grinch, and throughout in this little flashback that we get of him, he's a hopeless romantic. He falls in love with Martha, and because of that, he wants to look good. He wants to give her the best present. He gives her a little present, and then he also shaves his face for her. And may I say, when he shaves his face, he doesn't even look that bad. Not even that much noticeable, and the kids and the teacher laugh at him, which I think is really rude and not really good for his self-esteem. And because of that, he goes on a rampage and he becomes evil and literally becomes the Grinch as we know it. And I think I'm not here to judge the characters outside of Kid Grinch. We're not here to talk about that at this second. But kids, if you gave a razor to a 10-year-old kid, do you think they're going to do a perfect shaving job? No. Kid Grinch is a flawed character. Is his actions at the end of this, is his actions of turning into rage and resentment, is that valid? Not really. I feel like he could be dealing with his emotions better than that, but as well, he is a child, and childs have mixed emotions, confused emotions. He doesn't have a father figure that he can look up to. He's raised by this woman and I think another woman, and he might not have someone in his life who can intentionally ground him or show him the ropes as well. Yeah, like how is he supposed to
Show him how to shave.
exactly show him how to shave? Right. And so I think he's a flawed little kid. So I'm gonna have to put him in. I'm gonna say C for child.
Child Grinch to me is definitely an important part of the movie. It's very iconic in my mind, the Child Grinch scene of the film. And it is unfortunate that they didn't his parental guardians did not look out for him better. And they sent him down this path of pain and misery. I mean, they could have even started by making him not named Grinch.
Exactly. Yeah.
I feel like, everyone else in his class is named like Martha and Augustus, but he's Grinch. And that's kind of nothing against his name or anything, but I feel like what if they just called him like Steve? I don't know, rather than Grinch. Grinch is just kind of an intimidating name. Yeah, I think he's he's a fine character. I enjoy him when he's on screen. So yeah, Child Grinch, I think I'm gonna agree with you there. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna put Child Grinch in B tier because I do really enjoy his moment in the film, and I always look forward to it.
Yeah, and I will say I like your idea of naming the Grinch something else than the Grinch, and I think Steve would be a perfect name for him. I feel like him being called Steve, and he wouldn't be called, how they call him, the Grinch. They don't just call him Grinch. Maybe they could call him the Steve or something. I feel like that would be maybe more positive, and they maybe maybe they would be more accepting. Oh, who's coming in town? The Steve. So let's get into next character, Clarnella, who we don't see too much of, but she is the one. We're on the subject of Kid Grinch. She's the one who knows all the Kid Grinch lore, and she's the one who does raise the Grinch throughout his childhood. And she's a pretty good storyteller, and she's one who isn't afraid to tell the truth. Cindy Lou Who comes to her asking these questions. She wants to know the lore, and Clarnella is there to share, which I think is pretty great. She seems like a sweet, nice old lady. She's not in it for much, but she does help the film help us understand the Grinch. So for that, I'm gonna have to put her. I'll just kind of put her in the middle. I'll just put her in C.
Yeah, that's fair. And going along with the theme of Drew and Stu, I really like her hair. I feel like so many characters in this film have really great hair, and they really knocked it out of the park with all the hairdos in this movie, and so that's something I really respect about Clarnella. However, I do wish Clarnella changed Grinch's name to Steve. I wish that took place. So that's gonna lose her a couple points for me. She is a great storyteller. She recounted that story perfectly to Cindy Lou Who, and that's something that is very admirable. And she definitely gains some points for me for that. So between the good storytelling and the hair, I think I'm gonna put Clarnella at C tier.
Next character we got. This is also, I feel like we're kind of in tune with the Kid Grinch lore, but this is Miss Rue, who is the teacher who taught the Grinch. She also taught Martha and Augustus, and like I said about the Grinch shaving his face, everyone laughs. She is also someone who laughs at the Grinch. She tries her best to hide her smirk, but it doesn't work. Yep, that's right. I'm doing some little rhymes while I'm at it. Um, she just, I feel like she could have been better to the Grinch in that sense, but as well, I do have some issues with her teaching abilities, teaching skills. Um, I don't necessarily have a huge problem, but I think I'm more just questioning her skills as a teacher, just because the generation of the Grinch and the generation of them, from my understanding, they just seem a little uneducated, and I feel like this could have been prevented if she was a better teacher. Now, is she the only teacher in Whoville? Possibly. We're not sure. That's not really shown in the film if there's other teachers, but Cindy Lou Who seems a little bit more quicker and more educated than these adults. So for that, I'm a little conflicted with my thoughts, but I'm gonna have to put her in. I'm just gonna have to put her in an E.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair ranking. I mean, this character doesn't really offer much to the film. I mean, I do think that I do appreciate her whole appearance. I do find her to be quite the memorable character in that sense, visually. However, she doesn't really offer much. And as you say, she's a very immature person. She really doesn't handle the schoolroom. All the issues with the kids bullying the Grinch. She doesn't handle that well, and that makes me lose a lot of respect for her. So to me, yeah, I think she's pretty low on the list. I'm gonna put her in E tier.
Next character is Hubris, who we don't see too much in the film, but he's kind of the henchman, the sidekick to Mayor Mayhew, and something about his look. He does have some crazy hair too. He has an interesting cut. Um, yeah, he's kind of one that only conforms to the masses, what they have to say. He's kind of the guy that only listens to the popular music. He only listens to the music that everyone says is the best, or the movie that everyone says is the best. His I feel like he would have a basic taste in media, but that's not really shown in the film. That's just my assumption. But I just feel like he's not his own person, and he's not. I feel like he could try and be more independent in himself. And it is shown in the film when Mayor Mayhew accidentally gets his head shaven by the Grinch, just because the Grinch is triggered by Mayor Mayhew, who gives him electric razor because he's like, haha, you get a razor. Do you remember what happened as a child? Which also was very insensitive to do and very triggering. So really reasonable that the Grinch would take those actions. But the point that I'm trying to say is that Hubris after that is like, okay, let me shave my head too, because then I'll be like you. Which, come on, just stick with your own hairstyle. You had something working. Yeah, I just have mixed feelings on him. I think I'm just gonna put him in D.
That's fair. That's fair. I kind of have mixed feelings on him too. I mean, the whole part with the razor is just crazy. They shaves the middle of his head off. Anyway, yeah, he's kind of a kooky little guy. He doesn't have much of a personality, like you said. He relies on Augustus. He's really just he's his right hand man. He's his side man, and to me, I like his appearance. I like his hair, and so for me, he gets some points for that. But he's not terribly memorable overall. I mean, I didn't even really remember he was in the movie until we just started talking about him. So for me, he's gonna go into E tier.
Next character is not a Who necessarily, but is a part of Whoville, and that is Max the dog. Now, okay, this might be a hot take. This might be controversial.
Okay.
Max, sure, he's a dog. He does what the Grinch wants. He becomes a reindeer. He's cute and all that. But Max is a dog. And the whole movie, we're seeing all these people who's, these things, and all these magical things that they do, and their little cars and their little houses that look crazy, and this. And the whole time we're watching all this, we cut back to Max, who is just a dog. And he doesn't talk. He doesn't do anything interesting that a dog can't do. This whole movie is very unrealistic and it's not grounded in reality. But for some reason, the only thing that is grounded in reality is a dog, which I think could be much better if it was enhanced or more advanced dog. It is just a dog. It doesn't talk. It doesn't do anything fantastic or magical. Just find it really strange that that's what they're trying to get at. And in the book and the cartoon special, Max is a little bit more cartoonish, but in this movie, he is just a freaking dumb dog. Actually, sorry, I didn't mean to say dumb. That was a little offensive. But
That was really mean.
yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I didn't really mean to. I know, you have a dog, and there's other people that have dogs at home. So not trying to, generalize dogs, but just find in this movie, Max could have been an elevated character. Gonna actually put him in E.
I agree with what you're saying a little bit there. Like, they could have done more with him. He could have been a more fleshed out character. I do enjoy what he does have to offer in the film. I like seeing him get his reindeer antler with the nose. That's he looks very cute with that. And I think he works as a good way to get the audience into the Grinch's secret lair, because Max sort of grounds the audience because we're watching the Grinch through Max's lens. And so for that reason, I can respect some things they did with Max. However, if Max maybe had a little bit more to do in the story, that would have been much appreciated as well. So for me, I do enjoy Max, and I think I'm going to put him in B tier.
Next character is going to be the narrator, who is Anthony Hopkins. And Anthony Hopkins is a pretty cool actor. And kind of wondering, how does he know about this stuff about the Grinch? And I wish they explained that part. And Mark, what do you think about Anthony Hopkins? You like him, right?
I like him. And yeah, I mean, I don't know how he knows any of this stuff about the Grinch. I mean, maybe he talked to Clarnella, and Clarnella told him all this stuff.
That is true.
So that's a theory right there. Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy Anthony Hopkins in this film. I actually didn't realize it was Anthony Hopkins until just now. But I agree. Really great presence in the movie. Anthony Hopkins, narrator. However, he's not that important to the movie. I mean, we could strip him away and the movie would be the same, mostly.
That is true. But I feel like he does add a little bit of flair to the opening, and and I think, without that grand voice, that grand opening, we might be a little confused, might be a little, he kind of gives us like this initial punch, like this is what the movie's going to be about. This is the tone that we're setting. Anthony Hopkins sets the tone. You know what? Maybe just go B on this one. I'm going to say that. And as well, I'm wondering if Anthony Hopkins is a who in this world, or if he's just Anthony Hopkins.
And that's a very good question. One that I don't know if we'll ever see answered, but it would be amazing if someday it could be answered. So, but for me, I think Anthony Hopkins, I'm going to put him in C tier.
Okay, next is going to be Christina Huderberry, who is... she's the love interest of either Stu or Drew. Lou, not really sure. Couldn't really tell. But she's only in the opening when they go and prank the Grinch. Yeah, I mean, don't really care too much about her. I'm just gonna say D. There's not really too much to say about her, but I just wanted to keep her on the list.
Yeah, I mean, this is another character with really great hair. I mean, I appreciate, like, I love the big braids kind of popping out of the top of her head. And so, she pairs nicely with Drew and Stu. Do we have the name of the other character, the fourth character with them there?
I did not figure that out. I didn't.
Okay.
But we could. Do you want to give her a name maybe, and then we can rank her?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
give her a name.
let's call her let's call her
Justina, like Christina, but with a J.
Justina. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I like it.
Yes. Okay. And
Justina.
where are you? Sorry, where are you ranking Christina first?
So for Christina Hooterberry, I think I'm gonna rank her in C tier. She doesn't really, actually no, D tier. I do feel that Christina Hooterberry's presence really it elevates Stu and Drew. I think without Christina Hooterberry and Justina Hooterberry, then Stu Lu and Drew Lu would probably rank a little bit lower on the tier list for me.
True.
But it's because this group together, they come together and they all complement each other's hairdos and outfits, and it makes for a really complete vibe. Now, and then for Justina Hooterberry, I'm not as into her hair. It's not quite as it's not quite as detailed as Christina's hair. So for Justina, I'm gonna put her in E tier with Drew Lu.
And for me, Justina, I'm gonna have to put her just to keep it steady and consistent. I'm gonna put her in D. That's where I have all of the little thugs in that opening: Stu, Drew, Christina, and Justina. I just feel like they all complement each other so well. Now we're getting closer to the end. We have Officer Houlihan, who we see a little bit throughout the film, more of just a background character. But I brought this up just because, I guess before I'll say that, where we see him from, there's a part, I'm not sure if you remember, he accidentally pulls the mayor out of his house with his car. And I thought that was low-key kind of funny. It's after the Grinch steals Christmas and all the Who's are panicking, and we get this scene where there's some sort of rope tied to the car, which was actually tied to the mayor's bed. And so when the officer is a little frantic, he drives his car, pulls the mayor out of his bed. Thought that was a pretty funny little gag, but I'm not here to rank the gags. I feel like Officer Houlihan is not a great officer, just because I feel like he could have stopped the Grinch multiple times from doing all these crazy antics and from stealing Christmas and all this. I feel like he is kind of the authority that should be able to put an end to the Grinch's shenanigans. But not everyone is perfect. But little disappointed in the actions that he did not choose to take. So for that, I'll just put him in E.
Yeah, I mean, I like him. He's there. He adds just an extra element to that scene where he shows up and he's there. But I think I'm gonna have to put him in F tier.
No. Really?
Because he doesn't really do anything to manage the situation. He's not doing his job, and he's hardly in the movie. He's not doing his job. I can't really say I have much respect for him. So, Officer Houlihan, you're going in F tier.
We're at the final character, and this is a big deal because we have already ranked. We've ranked all the characters in Whoville, or all the characters that we know by name, I guess. There's tons of other Whoville characters that we don't see too much of, or we don't get a name. Not the point, what I'm trying to say. We've done all this. We've come this far. We've ranked the different phases of the titular character, the Grinch. Now, we are here to rank the Grinch, the adult Grinch. This is a big deal. And the whole video we've talked about the Grinch for an hour or so, and now we're here to really put together our thoughts on the adult Grinch. Is there any like, I don't know, opening statement or anything you want to hint at right now, Mark, before we truly dive into this?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that this is a really great character, and it's a great performance by Jim Carrey.
Of course.
He's funny, he's enjoyable to watch, and I mean that's all you can ask for from a Grinch movie.
That is true. Jim Carrey does put a lot of time and effort into the character. I think he was in, he there's a lot of prosthetics, a lot of makeup, and I heard that was a little bit uncomfortable, but Jim Carrey, he went through with this and he really pulled off the character well. But we are here to judge, the character of the Grinch. Jim Carrey is a great actor, but this is not the Jim Carrey tier list. This is the Grinch character tier list. And the Grinch is, he is pretty mean and gross throughout the film. He isn't trash. He is just a little despicable guy. And he does steal Christmas, which is, the pivotal part of the film. And don't think that was very nice. But it was a little funny. I think it was kind of like a nice little prank because he does give them Christmas back and he does change his heart. But I think it is kind of like a harmless prank because he takes their things and then he's like, oh, gotcha. Here they are. They're back for you. A lot of the film, he is despicable, but he does change his heart at the end of the film. And this is also, okay, I'll say it. This is the titular character. I feel like I haven't done any S tier characters. I feel like this is the perfect time to put the Grinch in my S tier. That's right. Grinch is S tier.
Okay, woo!
Yep, I did it. The Grinch makes the film what it is. Without the Grinch in How the Grinch Stole Christmas, it would just be How Stole Christmas, which, what is that? That's not a movie.
You know what? I think I'm gonna have to agree with you.
Yes!
I think I'm gonna put the Grinch in S tier as well.
Dude, this is so exciting. And do you care to explain your thoughts on that?
Yes, the Grinch. I mean, look, he's the driving force of the whole story. I mean, right from the opening scene, it's all about him. Drew, Christina, Justina, and Stu, they are there to harass the Grinch. It's all about the Grinch. Everything revolves around him. He's the man. And I couldn't put him anywhere else other than S tier.
I love that. And I feel like this is the perfect ending to our video. It just feels so magical that, we both agree on the titular character. We both agree. And this is our first S. I feel like this is amazing, and it's great that we could end this on a great note.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys for watching the video.
Thank you.
Any closing words to the viewers, Mark?
Have a holly jolly Christmas.